Hey guys, welcome to AndroGuider. So in this video we are going to have a quick overview of the Nameless 3.0 ROM, and as you can see that this ROM is based on Marshmallow 6.0.1. Okay, just let me go back. Okay, and the build is of July, and when you will tap on multiple times on the build date, you will get into the demo mode. And if you just check in the show demo mode option, you will the all the Wi-Fi, the network, and the battery indicators, all of them would go up to 100%, and the time would be set up as 12:30. So this option is only for those people who want to take pretty screenshots for the apps, or if you plan to show off your home screen, then you can just use this option. And this ROM comes in with the June 1 security patch, and the developer options are not enabled by default, so you need to tap on the build number 7 times to do that. And I'm also using a custom kernel at the moment, which is just for showing you guys the device control app specifically, and I'll just be covering that up in a short while. And if you are using an official build, then the system updater is ought to help you out, and you can view the changelog from using the recent changes option, and you can also check how frequently the updates are checked: daily, every third day, weekly. And if you are running on an unofficial build, then I would advise you guys to just check to select the disabled option. Okay, so as you guys can see that this ROM is based on CM13, and with the stock CM13 launcher in, and I won't be covering up all the features which the launcher has to offer, and I have made a separate video for that. It was one of you guys who suggested me to do separate video for all these settings in, because it seems that most of you out there are familiar with the stock CM13 launcher, and how you have to tweak their settings to get the desired output. So I have made a separate video which you guys can watch if you want to know how you can configure the launcher to your liking. And I think that this will suit all of us, because those of you who don't want to watch who don't like to watch long videos, then cutting on this part of the video will also make the videos a bit shorter. So I will guys let you have a look at the wallpapers which the ROM has. And these are the live wallpapers, these are the wallpapers which you get. And the only live wallpaper which we have in the ROM is face beam. And if you want to configure or select any other live wallpaper, then you can use photo face for that. And widgets, we have a reboot widget for the device control. I'll just quickly show that to you. So you can just quickly click on that if you plan to reboot your phone, or access the other power off toggles. And then we have the power control, through which you can quickly toggle on and off the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth airplane mode, sync, and laptop brightness. I'll just remove that. Okay, now moving up to the apps which we get AudioFX, browser, calculator, camera, file manager, device control, gallery, messaging, Apollo music player, screencast, sound recorder. So plenty of apps. So I'll get into device control now. So guys, this is a really very maybe you can say that this is the trademark feature of the Nameless ROM, and this app is so well popular within the within the Android community that the Nameless developers were forced to upload this app to the Play Store. And I think that there's a developer named Alexander who actually brought the app to Play Store. And if you want to grab the APK file for the app itself, then you can just Google it, and it was available on APK for fun. So if you want to do that, then you can do that too. Okay, so I'll just quickly read the welcome note to you. And so to get started, swipe out the menu from the left, or press the button at the very top left. If a feature is not supported by your device, it gets automatically hidden. Supported features depend on the device you are using, and the ROM and the kernel you are using. If you have no supported features, please try using a custom kernel. Please note that you need a rooted device to enjoy all the features of device control. And as the root access is enabled by default, I will again cover that up feature in the developer options. So that is the place where you have to enable root access if you want to do that. Now I'll just show you around the app. So you can get various information about the about your device. So this is the platform information, Android version, build ID, type, tags, build date, which is the nothing but the ROM build date. Then we have the runtime, type, version, the device information, ID, manufacturer, device, model, product ID, board, etc. And then you can also view the kernel version, the the Linux patching too, and the build date of the kernel, and the host, and all that stuff is present in here. Then similarly you can view the CPU information, architecture, and the hardware, processor, the number of cores, available frequencies, and clock speeds. All that stuff is present in here. And then similarly you can view the GPU settings too. Then under sensors, this is a setting which I like. So from here it enlists all the sensors which your device packs in. And if you click on the show sensors information, you get to know all the current readings of the various sensors which your device has. So these are the readings of the light sensor, accelerometer, gravity, rotation vector, gyroscope, the proximity sensor, magnetic field, and they are automatically categorized as per the readings which they take. So again, it's great to have this feature into. Then we have the hardware information. Again, it will show you fingerprint scanner, GPS, all the stuff that is available. And if you are wondering that the location, the it could not request location because I have currently turned off the location quick toggle. Then we can view the software info. Similarly, the performance one, you can view the CPU temperature, the battery temperature, and how much time your phone has been running up. Then time spent with the time which the CPU cores have spent at different clock speeds. All of that stuff can be viewed from here. Then under the control section, this is the place actually where we can configure most of the settings. As it was mentioned in the introduction to that, it depends on the kernel which your ROM comes in with, or the custom kernel which you flash. So all these features depend on that. So the custom kernel, I'm using a custom kernel just to give you guys a brief idea of what the settings, the the device control ROM, the device control app actually can offer you. So from here we can enable the knock on feature, which is nothing double tap to wake, sweep to wake. You can enable all that stuff. And if you guys are using a device such as the OnePlus One, which offers you off-screen gestures, draw a C to launch the camera, draw V to quickly toggle on and off the torch, then I believe that you can also find that option in here. But maybe not, it might be present in a completely different menu under the settings option, as it is the maximum number of times. But again, if you are the user of a device such as the Eureka, which which compulsorily which requires a custom kernel definitely to draw all those off-screen gestures to do launch apps or do anything that you want, then all those features would be present in under the gestures option. Then you can also configure the entropy and the TCP congestion control. Again, that depends on the kernel which you are running at the moment. And the gestures option, this will come in handy particularly for the Eureka or the Eureka Plus users who are using running the Thunder Zap kernel, or a kernel which supports off-screen gestures. Then we can configure the processor settings. You can view the core status, the clock speeds and the maximum clock speeds and stuff, all that stuff. And then you can configure the maximum and the minimum frequencies. And if you want the CPU cores to be stagnant at a particular clock speed, then you can check in the lock frequencies option. And if you want to change the governor, then you can do that from here. But and if you want to lock the governor, then you can select that too. But guys, just make a note here that not all the kernel governors allow you to tune in their settings, such as the power save governor and the performance governor don't allow you to at all tune in their settings. But a governor such as the ThunderX or on demand. In these governors you can actually configure their various aspects, such as the RAM down rate, or the there is the ramp up rate and stuff like that. Or if you are running a custom kernel, which which offers you governors such as Pegasus Q and ZZ Move. Again, I don't know about the pronunciation, but if you are governing governors like these which offer you multiple profiles for different settings, then you can enable that under the governor tunings option. But again, it depends upon the kernel which you are running on. Then you have the graphic settings. I don't know why, but my device does not support any GPU settings. So if your phone or the kernel which you are running supports any graphic customizations, then this is the place where you need to go to. Then input output scheduler, and you can just configure that and configure its various aspects at the same time. And then read ahead, dynamic s-sync, auto streaming. Again, if you want to do that, completely dependent upon you. My device does not support any thermal drivers, so I can't cover up that setting. And if you want to enable these settings on boot, then you can do that from here. And if you want automated restoration or a delayed restoration, then you can configure all that based upon your requirements. Then from the boot up items, from here you can select which settings have to be applied on boot, or which settings should not be automatically applied on boot. So the ones which are checked in, they will be applied on boot. And say suppose if I don't want to enable the sweep to wake feature by default, I'll just check that off, and it won't be enabled when the device is rebooted or it boots up again. Then we have the app manager. This is nothing but it is just like the stock app manager with some add-ons. So say if I select device control, then you can view the various partitions, the memory which device control is occupying in both the internal and the external memory, if your device supports an SD card, that is. And then you can also view how much memory it is occupying in the cache partition too, the application size, and all that data. And if you want to wipe any partition such as the data or the cache partition of the app, then you can do that. And at the bottom we have the permissions which the app utilizes, and along with their explanations. And if you want to force stop any app or uninstall it, then you can just hit the respective buttons. And the greatest feature of this app is that you can uninstall multiple apps at the same time, enable them or disable them. That is completely dependent upon you. And you can again just search for that or refresh them. Then tasker, this again a really great aspect of this of device control. Maybe I would call this as the flagship feature, in fact, in my opinion, for device control. Okay, so if you are familiar with the tasker, then if you have used the tasker app, which allows you to automate your Android smartphone to a great extent, then I guess you won't be having any difficulty in adopting to the tasker setting of this app too. And if you guys remember using the set CPU app, which was another app to configure your kernel back in those Jelly Bean or KitKat days. I remember using the set CPU app when I had a Galaxy Grand Quattro which ran on Android Jelly Bean 4.1.2. So the set CPU app was really back then, and it allowed you to set different profiles for for actually browsing different apps. So say if I am running a particular app such as or say if I'm browsing the internet, then I can have different kernel settings for that. And by kernel settings I mean that you can configure any aspect of the kernel, the governor, input output scheduler, and the clock speeds, the maximum and the minimum clock speeds. And you could literally have different settings for gaming, browsing, reading, and anything which you want. And even when your screen was off or on, stuff like that, anything. So the tasker setting of device control is based on similar aspects. And currently we only have two trigger points, which are screen off and screen on. So actually you can configure what happens when the screen is switched off, when the screen is off or on. So say I select the trigger point as when the screen is off, then I want to change I have to select the category, and say if I pick up CPU and I want to change the maximum frequency. I want to, you know, uh, ramp it down to 1040 megahertz. So I'll just summarize it up for you. The trigger point, that is when the screen goes off, you need to change the maximum CPU frequency down to 1040 megahertz. So that's what this setting will do. And guys, just make a short note that if you want to use this setting, the tasker setting, then you need to check in this icon. And as even the welcome note said, you know uh, at the following pages you will be able to set up a tasks are disabled by default. You will need to take the checkbox on the right of each item to activate it. To activate the tasker, turn on the switch at the top right at the task list on. Okay, so this is the checkbox which they are talking about in the last line. And by default all the tasks are checked off, so you need to manually check them in. And I'll just make another setting. So say if I change the CPU governor this time to power save. Okay, so again when the screen is turned off, the CPU governor will be changed to power save. That is it. And say if I when the screen is off, the CPU, or say the file system this time, I want to change the input output scheduler to Noop. And Noop is known for its battery friendliness, so when the screen goes off, the input output scheduler is changed to Noop. Okay, so when I just check all of them in, okay, so when the screen goes off, the maximum CPU frequency is adjusted back to 1040 megahertz. The CPU governor is power safe, and the input output scheduler is Noop. So I guess that is pretty clear now. And similarly you can configure the settings when the phone is when the screen is turned on or stuff like that. And then from the flash setting you can flash recoveries and select the actions which have to be performed. Along with that, backup, wipe data, wipe cache and Alvec. And if you want to just flash any recovery, then you need to select a file using the plus icon. And then under more, so from here we can access the wireless file manager. So if you are if you have access to any server which hosts some files, and you would like to just transfer those files, or maybe change them or delete them, then this is the place where wireless file manager comes into play. And you can just configure all settings. You can have an authentication if you want to browse in root mode. So that's all what the wireless file manager is aimed at. Then we have build.prop editor. You can search for any setting, and if you want to add a property you can do that too. Then we have the system control. So from here you can adjust the VFS cal pressure swappiness, and other settings too. Then we have the trigger media scan and the quick actions. And then at the bottom we have the privacy and the licenses, which will redirect you to some web pages, and if you want to read about them you can do that. Under settings you can change the theme, reduce graphic effects, activate polyfish. For every taken survey you help us grow. And you can just select that option if you want to. Enable expert mode, sense 360, script requirements check. Okay, so that's all what we have in the device control app. Now getting to settings menu quickly. I'll just this ROM comes in with the CM theme engine, and we don't have this CyanogenOS theme engine, which is now making its way to some of the ROMs, and it comes in with the per app theme engine too. So under status bar icons you can just quickly choose which icons you want to show or hide. So it's like currently I don't know, but I have the demo mode enabled. I've just forgot to turn it off. So even in demo mode, if you just want to turn off the Wi-Fi, you don't want to show it, then you can just check that off. Similarly you can adjust the clock style, right, left, or center, or hidden. And you can actually control mode too. So that's pretty new to me. But anyways, then you can adjust the AM/PM style, the battery icon. These are options which you get. Battery percentage, you can just show it or hide it as per your preference. We also get brightness control, show notification count, quick pull down network traffic, outgoing and or incoming, or you can just select both of them. Display units, update interval, auto hide inactivity threshold. I guess that's all what we have in the status bar configurations buttons. So if you have backlight buttons, you can change the illumination time, left-handed mode, show arrow keys while typing, buttons and layout. I'll just quickly show you the buttons which we have. We have the search button and the menu button by default, and I hope that you can configure them as per your need now. And then we have the power menu, and when you have enabled all the options, this is how the power menu looks like. Then you can cut the call using by pressing the power key, and press the power button twice to launch the camera when the screen is off. Then we have the various hardware key customizations. At the bottom we have the volume button settings, wake up device, playback control, control ringtone volume, keyboard cursor control, and reorient the volume keys when the device is rotated. Display and light, brightness level, adaptive brightness, live display, rotation settings, double tap to sleep, sleep timeout, wake on plug, cast, wallpaper. And at the bottom we have the show the search bar in recents menu. Sounds. Now under other sounds we have all these settings. We also have charging sounds. Then I don't think that we have anything under notifications too. I'll just quickly go down to the lock screen settings. You can change the lock screen type, live lock screen message, bottom lock screen shortcuts, display music visualizers, show the lock screen weather, lock screen blur effect intensity, wallpaper. You can just change the lock screen wallpaper using this setting. And I'll just quickly go back, and guys, just make a note that lock screen blur sucks up on some part of your battery too. So if you are enabling that option, then you would be compromising on some part of your battery too, so just make a note of that. Then under security, unknown sources is not checked in by default, so if you plan to sideload any app, make sure you check that in. And under privacy, we have the privacy guard, blocked call list, filter notifications, nameless ROM statistics, protected apps. So the filter notification setting was just made its way to maybe a few weeks back, in some of the CM13 nightlies, and using this you can just quickly change any notification settings. And if you have applied filters on, say if you have turned off any notification settings, I'll just quickly show it to you. So say if I just block all, then you can just if you are applying any filters on notifications, then I guess that's what it is aimed at. Treat as priority, maybe I believe that these are notification filters, but I don't know why, but they are not just showing up. No filter set. Again, I have no clue why that is happening, but I believe that is what notification filters should be. It should be upon if I select any block all or allow peaking. I guess that's what it should be about. But anyways, I will make a note to check what what this feature has to offer. Then the maximum percentage at which the battery saver can be enabled is 15%. And then we have the developer options in the bottom. Advanced reboot is here. This is in here too, and by default it is for apps only. Android debugging is not checked in by default, so if you plan to run titanium backup, or if you want to be on the safer side, because if your phone if you are playing around with your phone and your phone just goes off a bit, if you run into any trouble, then Android debugging would make sure that you can restore your phone using your PC. And then we have the animation settings, multi-window mode is, and then at the bottom we have the kill app back button, and we have the lazy disk soft. This is a new setting which again made its way into the CM13 nightlies. So using this app, you can optimize the user apps when first starting the app instead of at boot up. So this immensely improves your boot up time. So just make a note that you enable this feature. I will definitely recommend you to enable this feature. And I guess now I will be covering up the quick setting tiles. So these are the default. These are the ones which are enabled, and when I click on edit tiles, these are the tiles which you can enable further. and you can just access this air tiles menu by long pressing on the gear icon and just leaving it, and you'll get into that menu again. Then you can show weather, brightness slider, enlarge first icon, try state location, reset to default layout. Everything else is present in. Okay guys, so I guess that I have covered up everything which I had to in this video, and I don't think that I have missed up on anything. Okay, so thanks for watching guys, and if you like the video, then do hit that thumbs up button, and if you want to watch more videos from my side, then uh, click on the subscribe button. And thanks for watching, have a nice day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.